Hey Charlie, hey Aram.
Hey guys.
Hey Aram. Hey Charlie.
What's up,
Hey,
Jacob? How are you?
Steve. Good, how are you all doing?
Pretty good. Back in the USSA.
Nice.
Just a little jet lagged, but we're back.
Did you all get back today then? Or
Yesterday afternoon.
ah,
Oh yeah. Couple good hours of sleep though. That's all you really need.
Hey Tom.
Hey Tom, I think you're on mute.
All right, I'm there. Can you hear me?
yep.
What's
Hey
up?
Tom.
Okay. Oh, back in New York. I am the Walking Dead.
Tom
Thanks,
just summed
guys,
up how
for
we're all feeling.
listening in. You know, I want to change audio output. So, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you. But Tom, if you want to hear us louder, pull up the bottom menu bar and then
I
push
know.
change audio output to speaker.
Right. I got it. That button's just hard. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. You need skills to operate that button. We've got so many people rolling in. I don't want to say anything important until we get our critical mass. So I'll just say it's great to be back in New York. You know, every time I go away for such a long period of time, which isn't very often, come back and things are different, right? Like all those crappy stores have like different crappy stores in them, and in Soho, and also now bikes have ads in the wheels that are like digital and spinning around. I don't know if you guys have seen that change. Um, what else changed? Oh yeah, I saw an electric moped, like a proper moped that's electric. That looks pretty cool. Charlie, have you seen those yet?
Yeah, one of my neighbors has one of those actually. I talk to him about it every day. Whenever I see him.
Is
They're
that
pretty sick.
before we left or when we got
Yeah.
back?
Yeah. There's a store in Bushwick that sells them.
I mean, it's full suspension, right?
Yeah. It's pretty sick.
So like, I don't know about those. That seems like the way to go because I know Michael Sang was thinking about that.
Yeah. It's pretty
Oh,
awesome.
also, by the way, did you see Mike? Did Michael send you his NFT project that he built?
No.
Oh my god, it's so awesome. I don't think he hasn't pressed launch yet, but it's cool. It's a good
Sick.
project. It's like his own thing, pixel by pixel. It's beautiful. You're gonna love it. But yeah, I don't know if Michael's on this, but he's probably if he's got his own NFT project, he's definitely on that. Not on this. He's working his ass off trying to get it off the ground. But yeah, it's called fuck, what is it called? It looks so good. It's called Perf.nft. So I don't. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool project. You heard it here first, folks. Turf.nft. Um. Anyway, yeah. I think it's a real estate project, but it's beautiful, and you know that's what's important. How it works and how it looks. So, thanks for listening in, guys. I think we can start because we've got limited time today with everything we've got going back. But I just got back to the studio. The Rocket Factory is on fire. We produced so many so many rockets. Steven and Titus and the team made a bouquet of rockets, and I know that we've got 11 rockets scheduled for St. Louis, and the window closes to do that in 1 hour and 9 minutes. For anyone else who wants to launch a rocket in St. Louis, this is the chance. And I think it's important that the community know that. I mean, you guys all know that the functionality of phase 2 and any phases beyond phase 2 will be dependent on a fully launched rocket, and that the rocket launches, these smaller launches, these special launches, come with some special things. You know, if you show up to Paris, you launch in Paris, or St. Louis, you're gonna get something that someone later on might not get. So I'm not gonna say what, but there's functionality, and it's coming. Let's get into AMA. So, guys, ask me anything.
Well, Tom, maybe let's just start with talking a little bit about Friday in St. Louis. Charlie, I know that you've been talking a lot with the astronauts over at Budweiser HQ. Can you tell us a little bit about timing and what all they have in store for hosting their fellow astronauts?
Yeah, sure. So it's going to be Friday, closer to the evening. Like they're planning on starting the rocket launch at 5:30. Around I think 5:30, and then let me just double check that though. And then I think we're going to try to do like a happy hour at Budweiser, but it's going to be at the Budweiser brewery. I think we're launching in one of the parking lots far away from all of their important chemicals, all that kind of stuff, all of the brewery stuff. But yeah, it's going to be a great launch. Let me just look.
Yeah, it's 5:30 p.m. for the launch.
Yeah.
We'll launch for about an hour, and then at 6:30 they are hosting a happy hour at the brewery.
Yeah, and then some special
They're gonna
things
be snacks.
Sorry,
They're gonna be snacks.
I
It's
believe.
St. Louis. The Midwest can't do happy hour without snacks. I can't say what the quality of snacks is, but there's got to be snacks.
But I'm thinking like pretzels with mustard.
I would
You
imagine.
ever had corn nut?
Oh, I love corn nuts. I mean,
Whoa.
yeah. I would love to. I love corn nuts, but like homemade corn nuts. Or do you mean the ones in the little like plastic tube bag? Well,
I don't know if I'm
Homemade
discerning
one.
enough to know about
I
corn
get
nuts.
it, but
corn nuts are like it's like corn on the way to becoming popcorn, but it's not pop. It's like hard corn, but it's salty and good.
that's one of those my mom made all candy.
Your
bar.
mom made them?
Oh yeah, big Midwest family.
Oh yeah, you make homemade corn nuts. That's like a special thing. I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to sample your mom's corn nuts. Did I say that
I'll
right?
let her know. Yep, I'll let her know.
Cool. Thanks. Thank you. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I think that it's important to remember that we've got 1,000 rockets to launch. So these launches that we're doing when it's like 11 or 30 rockets or whatever are small launches. These are the boutique launches. So you guys, I know some of you listening have been part of some of these launches. These are special launches. So remember these days.
And speaking of them being special, I know that they're also arranging special brewery tours just for our astronauts that are going to be launching if they're there. So we'll really get to see the behind the scenes there and meet the horses and everything.
And I heard a
Cool.
rumor, yeah, that the Clydesdales are definitely going to make an appearance.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's why we're
Most
doing
importantly,
Hey, is it Steve
Hey,
Menendez
Steve.
here?
Steve.
Yes,
Steve!
yes. So you guys are gonna.
Awesome.
I am a St. Louis native, and very much looking forward to being at the brewery 5:30 on Friday. Now I will not be launching, but because I haven't gotten in deep enough to understand everything I needed to about that. However, I definitely will be there and for the happy hour. And Tom,
Awesome.
you mentioned pretzels and mustard. There is a famous St. Louis landmark, a place called Gus's Pretzels, that is walking distance from the brewery. And I am going to right here and now volunteer to bring over hot, soft pretzels and mustard from Gus's, which, like I said, is a few hundred yards from the western edge of the brewery there. Just kind of want to make sure that there's some other RSVP requirements that need to be taken care of for those to be in attendance.
Steve, you are a supermensch. You don't need to do that. We should just probably make them do it. I mean, that's like
Well,
they probably have an arrangement with them.
They it's entirely likely, but I don't know how many people are expected to be at a launch like this, but they sell these pretzels by the big sacks, and they're cooking them right behind the counter as you walk up there. It's worth it to have a hot, fresh pretzel. But
Oh, the
yeah,
dream.
you could lean on maybe Charlie could lean on August Bush to run over there and pick some up. But I'm happy to. This is a nothing deal for something as historic as the launch at the Budweiser Brewery, which is just going to be so cool.
Oh, I'm super psyched. This is gonna be great. Super, super psyched.
I've got some bandsaw blades and stuff for you guys also, but I'll probably just ship those to the studio.
Oh, Steve, you are just like
Steve.
you're the ultimate. Just so you know, Steve, like you guys don't know who Steve is, but or maybe I know some of you do, but Steve is I don't even know where to begin, but just such a huge stoker, uh, studio cousin at this point for sure.
Appreciate
Brother,
that.
and
A lot of us
makes
call you Uncle Steve.
Really.
Every time we get an order in, yeah.
I've got some baseball hats I can bring down and hand out to folks there at the event. Bandsaw blades, jigsaw blades. They're nice happy hour parting gifts. Everybody gets a pack of jigsaw blades or something like that.
oh my god, Steve like hooked us up with so many jigsaw blades to just change the way we use jigsaw. Like, people when they first get into making stuff, they're like, "What are the first tools you get?" People usually get like a drill, and then they usually get immediately a circular saw, which I think is insanity. Circular saw is a absolutely last ditch effort. I mean, I consider that like next to a pickaxe. Unless you're like making stuff out of 2x4s or whatever, like jigsaw people for real bricolage because it can do anything. And Steve's just sent us like this unbelievable assortment of like infinite jigsaw blades.
I don't want you to run out.
Well, I got like to me like I don't like jigsaw is everything. I don't know. It's like the brick, and it's not like it's a weird tool because it's there's always a better way to do it than with a jigsaw, kind of. Like
Right.
you should be using a bandsaw or you should be using a table saw. But that it fits in one hand and you can hold the other thing with the other hand means you can like cut in space. I imagine like if I was on a spaceship, I'd want a jigsaw, a battery powered jigsaw, like you could like zero gravity make stuff. Can you imagine trying to do a zero gravity table saw?
Yeah, it's gonna take some extra hands. So what I'm hearing is just show up. Just show up
Yeah.
at 5:30 ish, and have a rocket launch, a fabulous happy hour there at Budweiser with the Clydesdales. We'll have some pretzels. You guys, Budweiser has plenty of beer, right?
I think so.
And how long are you planning to be in St. Louis? Is it in and out kind of a deal?
We were just figuring that out before.
Of our
Don't know.
schedule, I think. We're getting in the morning, Friday in the morning,
Okay.
but then we're leaving Saturday morning. Just been away a long time from New York, and we all have a lot of things to wrap up. So
Right.
we'll have an epic 24 hours in St.
Well,
Louis.
I will extend the invitation for a custom bandsaw blade factory tour for anybody who wants to attend right here at Edge Manufacturing.
Oh my God. All right, Aaron, we gotta talk about if we can do this. We just got landed last night from an epic like 8 weeks in Europe.
Yeah.
And holy shit, this is really so fast and crushing, but we're gonna do it. So Steve, I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to make it or not. I don't want to say.
Totally understand. And St. Louis is not a highlight of many people's trip to. Where do you want to go when you get back from 8 weeks in Europe? A lot of people are not saying St. Louis, but
but Steve, what's the like, where should we eat in St. Louis? What's the thing to do in St. Louis? Tell us. You there?
Did we lose Steve?
I see you, Steve.
all right.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I said just appreciate the opportunity to speak on the AMA. And I don't know, I got some weird in and out audio thing, but I'll be at the event Friday night, and we'll bring a couple of dozen hot pretzels. And if you guys think you can make it down here for a plant tour on Saturday, our manufacturing plant will be making bandsaw blades all day, every day, including Saturday.
Oh, awesome.
Steve, why don't you DM me the location,
Will do.
and I'll see if we can work it into the schedule or not. It'll really just depend on travel times.
Sure. I will do it, Aram.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Should we bring up more questions, or for our mods, maybe there's questions in the AMA chat?
We have some preloaded questions, but if there's anyone in the audience that want to raise their hands, please go ahead. And otherwise, we'll just get going with some questions, and maybe follow-ups come from that as well. So let's go.
Got one.
Chip up, Ray, welcome. The floor is yours.
Hey, awesome, thanks. So I guess my question, after taking an L on the release date of the rocket parts, I've now kind of turned my energy towards what I'm really good at, which is buying merch. So I'm curious about the Essence kind of Web3 store and how that is like maybe going to play out, or if it is going to involve like MetaMask wallets. Just so I can prepare mine for that. That's it.
First, Chip. Hi there. Chip's my neighbor.
What up?
Chip, I already
What's
heard
up,
that
Chip?
Chip has the Rocket Factory poster framed and up in one of the rooms for his kids. So Chip's taking the Rocket Factory merch seriously.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, what's going on, Aram? Tell us. What's the plan?
So Charlie and I are working with the devs on the Web 3.0 merch store. I think we said this in a previous announcement already, but the goal is to have that a month from when we'd return from Europe. So kind of start your clocks from now. We'll definitely give updated release dates and times on Essence, which is different than the Web 3.0 launch for the Rocket Factory. Essence is just kind of like one of our usual releases, and without saying too much, that's coming this week. And you'll hear about the announcement first on Tom's Instagram for those of you following the Essence stuff.
I will say this. I was in the studio earlier today, cracking skulls, and I did see a gigantic stack of light blue embroidered circles. Not saying what that means, but I did see some things.
That's awesome. I'm glad you saw some things, Tom. Also, I know the hat got a lot of love at the Governor's Island launch.
Oh yeah.
And just want everyone to know that hat is in full development.
Oh yeah. I also had some conversations. That's gonna be cool. Can't fucking wait. Oh, I can't say. We can't say. You'll see. These AMAs are tough because I want to share, but can't. Just gotta keep the suspense.
Well,
Sorry.
or more like we want to share the information with you all when we've got fixed dates, you know?
Yep. Fair. Yeah. Things
I hope that
change.
answers your questions, Chip. Also, I'll shoot you a text about Essence. Little insider heads up, don't worry.
Things change a lot, and I think that we, our main thing is that we just want to promise only on what we can actually deliver. And there's when you've got to go to another world, it takes like 35,000 people, or all organized with the same collective goal of going to another world. That means you're really dependent on everyone else. And sure, it won't fail because of me, because of my small part in it, but there are a lot of other people involved. There are a lot of variables, so things sometimes take longer than we want, and people get confused, and they're communicating by WhatsApp or whatever, or Discord, and things get lost in the translation. It takes some time. So everything in its proper time and place. It's all happening. It's all coming together.
That said, I do think I can say that Bud HQ, the Budweiser team, does have a little merch surprise for those who will be in St. Louis. Yeah. I can say that with confidence.
Oh, I'm so psyched for that. I know what that is. That's gonna be cool.
So that'll definitely be going down in St. Louis.
So psyched for that. Hey, by the way, I was on I follow Katie Nolan on Instagram. Do you guys follow Katie Nolan? She's just a really good artist. She does a lot of Budweiser stuff. Anyway.
I don't follow her, but I'm familiar because you and I have discussed it.
It's really good. Her Instagram, it's all McDonald's shit, like the most violent McDonald's stuff ever. It's so fucking cool. I follow her, so you can find her through my Insta, but it's just like Ronald McDonald's beheadings and like McDonald's versus Burger King, like super, I don't know, just weird shit. It's good. It's really all about like the loss of Camelot. The demise of the American dream. Very dark shit. It's good. Her Wikipedia is also incredible. She's an interesting artist. For those of you who like, people always ask about what artists to look at. I think Katie Nolan's like crucial. She holds the record for the highest work of the most expensive work of art sold at auction by a woman. I think it was at like $6.8 million or something like that, or 16 million. I don't remember. It was a lot. And then after it sold, she disavowed the work. I mean, extremely punk rock, extremely super gnarly. And she, I think, quit making art. I mean, she's clearly still an artist, but I don't think she shows right now. But I bet she'll be back with a vengeance, just like our buddy Marcel Duchamp, who quit making art for a couple of decades, but was secretly making art in his basement the whole time. So don't count Katie Nolan out. Anyway, next question.
We got a question from JDH in the chat earlier. He launched 2 rockets in Paris. The names were No Man is an Island and Moscow Mule. And he's asking if both were launched and recovered.
Yes, they were launched. Were they recovered? We have recovered some of the rockets, and some are still being recovered. We know where they all are, and they're the bombardiers are looking for them right now. So we can't really give that information unless, Charlie, you know more.
No Man is an Island is recovered. I think that was the last one that we launched at the Invalides. And then Moscow Mule is stuck in a tree.
But we'll get it out.
Yeah.
We know where it is.
Yeah. So the updates are that we know where the rockets are. The 3 that are on the roof of the museum, they have a really special irrigation system up there. So this specialist has to come and climb up there and get them. And that is happening tomorrow. And our gallerist in Paris is working with the fire department. The fire department are the only people allowed to like have ladders that go high up into the trees, and they're gonna go up there and recover them on our behalf. But requests like that are considered lower requests to some of their other emergencies. So as those rockets get recovered, we will make big announcements about their recovery, but we do have eyes on all of them.
Maybe we can get some photo documentation of that. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be really expensive. Like, we'll probably have to pay for it, but like, we should at least get a photo out of it, right?
Well, we're definitely paying for all of the recoveries, yes. For the specialist to go up there and for the fire department to retrieve them. So I'll see who on the ground could document getting these rockets saved. But I think that Paris is a really, really great example of how like recovery is not always guaranteed,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes these launches so thrilling. But that said, we did have one really brave recovery, which I think deserves a shout out and deserves to be spoken of.
Absolutely.
Maybe some people saw videos of the level of commitment that the rocket factory brings out of people who don't even own the rockets.
Who is our naked hero?
I'll name him. Instabor, at Instabor. Robin Buchholz, our brother, fucking champion, just took off his clothes and jumped into the Seine. Freezing cold, like strong current and filthy. He had to drink like 4 whiskeys to recover from it. Total and complete badass. I don't know what to. I mean, I cannot sing Robin's praises high enough. Right, Aram, Charlie.
Oh, could not sing them
Yeah.
like loud enough. And I mean, it's one thing to have, you know, your rocket land on the museum and know that like we got to cut some bureaucratic red tape, but we're gonna get your rocket for you. But if your rocket goes into the Seine, there is no getting that back. The currents are so strong. Like if we didn't get it out within the minute that it fell in that river, like that rocket was gone. So for Robin to jump in like that and rescue someone's rocket, like I think that's just like so powerful that like, you know, it's not even his rocket. He doesn't even know the person whose rocket it is. So I felt like that was really, really special and deserves a round of
Yeah,
applause.
it really does, and it's true like rocket factory faith. Like it doesn't matter whose rocket it is. All rockets are equal, right? Like Robin didn't care. Like we put 100% effort into every single rocket.
100%. Very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. It's just a commitment to community. It was really, really cool.
It wasn't like, it's Flamingo's rocket. We gotta like suck up to them and get their rocket. No, it doesn't matter. Everyone's rocket's the same.
I love it.
It's like a Coke. You know, the Coke that you drink is the same Coke that the Queen of England drinks.
Very well said.
Next question.
We don't have anyone from the chat. I've got a backlog, but I'd like to read. And this one's interesting. Is the physical rocket the only meat component that the team envisions being produced for the project?
Don't know.
Well, I mean, I would already say there's more Meat World components than just producing the rocket. I think the
Food merch.
well, there's the merch, obviously, but then there's also just these happenings like the rocket launches themselves, the people that like connect and meet each other. I mean, kind of like off of that, I would say 160 BC was one of our astronauts who launched in Paris, who also attended the after party. We ended up taking him to more than one post launch, and I think that those are all also Meat World components in their own way. I know that they're not things, but they're these shared experiences that we all get to have. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
absolutely.
mean,
That's really well said. I mean, it's there's meat space functionality. And I know the question you're asking is like, is there going to be more stuff? And you know, there's always stuff. That's what we do. We make stuff. But I'm not gonna. We can't promise or commit to anything. But I mean, you got to be an astronaut to go on the tour of the Budweiser plant, the special tour, the special VIP Willy Wonka tour. I mean, this is a special moment. So there's lots of stuff. I mean, I think that's the thing that we're really committed to with Web 3.0 and this project being an early expression of its functionality is bridging that gap. I mean, I totally believe in the metaverse. Like virtual space is real space. But I'm a material girl, you know, so I always want to make physical stuff too. I don't think you have to choose. I think that the key is in both.
Do we have anybody else that wants to raise their hand to be brought up? But Tom, Material Girl is one of my favorite, or my girlfriend's favorite songs to do for drag number.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a material girl and I live in a material world. I'm proud of it. Like, My Chanel wearing wife can't hold a candle to my materialism. I'm into plywood.
I got a question for you, Tom. I know that there are a couple of rockets out there that have Dune-related names. I know there's a perfect brand that's called Kwisatz Have you been able to see Dune while you were in Europe? And if so, what do you think of it?
I can't talk about it right now.
No?
Sorry. It's like really one of my greatest regrets was that I didn't see Dune when we were in Europe, but there just was simply not enough time. I tried so hard, but it was not even like the remotest possibility. I didn't even think I talked to anyone about it because I saw that it was viewable. I saw it in the newspaper. I was like, fuck. Like when? Can you imagine having
Oh,
time for
man.
a movie? Like how many weeks of just like 5 hour night sleep if you're lucky? Like the idea of a movie is just so decadent. It's actually the first thing I checked today was one time I was gonna go see it today, but it's not out yet for another. It's the 22nd of October. Like,
Yeah, something like that.
what kind of fucked up thing? Like, when does Europe get an American movie first? Like, fuck you, COVID. Like, how did that happen? It never happens like that. Like, how far we have fallen. Can anyone explain that to me? Please do.
I think it's
Or
probably the Delta variant, right? Because it's worse in the US now, so maybe they're worried about profits in the US.
yeah, and this is a big movie. It's like 126 million or something is spent on it. I mean, but let's talk about Dune. I listen. There's no way it's going to be as good, right? Because it's David Lynch. The old one was David Lynch, but it's going to have good things. Like even David Lynch, one of our all-time greats, like squandered his leading man with Kyle MacLachlan. Like he used him over and over again, and I just never like understand it. But it's really just a question of taste. And Timothy Chalamet is like way better, like superstar figure. So it could be good. But like no one has perfect taste. Maybe like Stanley Kubrick or like like Godard or like Truffaut, like those guys have perfect taste, but like even Steven Spielberg has terrible taste. Like he would ruin all of his movies with John Williams' score. Like it's such a brilliant filmmaker, but just like the cheese, just like of Williams, like original score is like, I mean, but that's his taste. That's who he is. Phoenix. Anyway, um, there will be things in this that are great. I mean, they have more money, and there's going to be some great special effects, and I bet you the Kwisatz Haderach is good. But like the cast of the original Dune, like besides the leading man, was just so unbelievable, and I don't know, it just had the decadent. We'll see. I can't wait. To see it. It's absolutely a priority. And yes, I'm going to go to the theater and see it.
Cool. Yeah, I won't spoil anything.
You just got to see it. You fucker. I'm so jealous.
I did.
So yeah, you're not allowed to talk about it to me. Or if you want to, I'll just like get off the anime. I just can't. But thank you for not spoiling. The fucked up thing is new stuff like this has a shelf life. Like that's the thing about comedy, even. As the information becomes assimilated into the mainstream, it like loses its innovative factor. Like it's like you really got to see it special. I remember I went to when Eyes Wide Shut came out. I went to Europe to see it because I wanted to see the unrated version of it, and yeah, it's marginally better. There were a couple of cool things, like they CGI'd cloaks in front of the orgy scene. That was pretty much it. I think that was all because the Americans are so puritanical and the French obviously are into libertine orgies. But that was kind of like that movie kind of doesn't count. That's not like it was posthumously completed, and you know no one escapes the Reaper.
Sorry, to interject the Dune talk, but I've got a question.
Please.
From someone going to NFT New York City and would like to launch at least one there. Will there be spots for the public, or are they all spoken for? And I think my understanding follow up is that NFT New York City had tickets for registration already, something, and it's not exactly like a public event.
Yeah, what's going on with NFT New York?
We're creating a schedule of everything that we are going to do. So we will definitely have events that are kind of open to all public happenings as we have done. I do know that there's a lot going on at NFT NYC that is kind of like directly related to the conference, or there are definitely a lot of projects like Bored Apes and stuff that are doing things that are very exclusive to just their community, or like ape holders and things like that. Um I think if that's like the question, so like yeah, some things are open to everyone, but I know that there are a lot of things that like that are open to like project stakeholders or NFT holders. Does that kind of help answer it?
I think so, and I hope that helps answer for the astronaut that asked.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, we will have things that are kind of like in Paris. We had the launch that anyone could go to, but then we um sent an after party invite only to our astronauts. So I think we'll have a combination of things like that, just exactly how we're doing it at Budweiser as well.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I know we talked about it last week, and now that Tom's here, do you think we can ask about some of the names for the rockets? Seem to have a
I
question
think
unless
we've got
he wants to talk about it in the chat.
I think we've got time for at least Tom to cover one name. We should at
Yeah,
least cover one to two names a week.
yeah, I love ending on some names. So bring it.
If I can be selfish, I'm gonna ask for the name of my rocket that I launched in Paris. It's Mean Mr. Mustard, and I know it's a song of Abbey Road, but I don't know. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the significance to the studio.
Well, I mean, I am Mean Mr. Mustard. Like I shave in the dark trying to save big bucks. Like Mean Mr. Mustard's kind of like that song, and I don't know. I've never researched it. I can only say what it means to me, because I think that's what it's about. Is about post-war austerity, and it's important to remember the Beatles as kind of provincial, right? Because there are these guys who, were born in Liverpool but became men in Hamburg, and like I remember, like when I lived in London in the 80s, like I rented a room in a house, and when you walked into the room, you had to put a 50-cent piece, a 50 pence piece, into a machine on the wall to turn on the lights. So some people like used flashlights in their homes or candles and stuff because they didn't like because electricity because they were so broke. And I think the frugality that comes from that, or as an American, my grandparents' generation, they're all products of the Depression, so they were extremely frugal, and they saved money and straight nails. Like my grandfather, he eventually became a doctor, but as a kid, he would assist his father, who was a rag and bone man, you know, with a push cart who picked up scraps and sold pots and pans and like traded on the street on the Lower East Side. And he would find nails in the street and hammer them straight so he could use them again and sell them. And being a nail straightener is kind of like, it seems like so far away from the world that we're in where we throw everything out. So I was at my friend's office and he said, what's your degree of expertise with lamp repair? And I'd say I'm probably a master lamp repairer. I probably don't have my PhD, or maybe I have my PhD, but definitely I'm a master lamp repairer. And he said, "Can you fix this lamp?" And he showed me this like black plastic lamp that had a halogen fixture from the 80s. And he said, "How do you fix this?" And I said, "Oh, you fix that by throwing it away and buying another one, because that thing, if you can't fix it, it probably wasn't the right thing to begin with." But then he said, "I can't do that because my mentor gave it to me, so it's not replaceable and it must be repaired." I said, okay. Well, and he said, well, I was like, "Well, what's wrong with it?" And he's like, "Well, it smokes when I plug it in." I said, "Oh, well, obviously, that plumbing, electricity are exactly the same. You just, when you got smoke in the electrical system, you have a leak, so you have to stop the leak." And anyway, long story short, I just cleaned it with alcohol, cleaned the contacts because it was a halogen fixture, and probably the person who plugged the bulb in before me used their fingers, and there was oil in their fingers. That's probably what was smoking. I don't really know. Anyway, I just cleaned it and it worked. So yeah, that's my answer to me, Mr. Mustard. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Thank you. It's great. I love it.
But I think we should go back because you brought up Kwisatz Haderach earlier, and I think it's worth mentioning, and we'll have time for a third. But Kwisatz Haderach in Dune, which I have not seen the new Dune, but I'm sure the story is the same, is the hero. And what's great about Dune is it's really one of the great hero's journey stories, one of the all-time greats. And the Kwisatz Haderach is the another version for the Buddha or the Enlightened One, or when the ordinary person is transformed into the hero after going through the road of trials, is transformed and becomes the hero, and that's the name. He starts the story as Paul Atreides, like the son of the Duke, and he ends as a Kwisatz Haderach, as like the most powerful being, able to do all kinds of things that regular people can't do. It's kind of like when Luke Skywalker becomes a Jedi. So, and I think that the notion of the Kwisatz Haderach is very important to the studio, because we are always looking to become our own Kwisatz Haderachs, our own heroes, our own best versions of ourselves, people that confront the thing that we're afraid of and transform ourselves into super beings through our belief and faith in ourselves and our potential. Give me another.
I've got a actually substitution, a question about the chocolate bouillon, of where we might be able to buy it or how we might be able to get it if we weren't in Paris.
Well, we minted 4 million chocolate bouillon coins, and we sold a bunch, and burned the rest. There are very few left, and they are only represented in these 36 boxes of 180 bars, which is 36,000 chocolate bullion coins. But to buy the chocolate bars and the digital coins that are associated with them are only available blocks, and there may or may not be some left. And Ara, maybe you can speak to where those would be available.
So they're only available through the gallery as an art edition of 36. For those who don't know, chocolate bullion tokens or SLP tokens, they were minted onto the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. So not the Bitcoin blockchain, but the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. Bitcoin Cash is BCH. Our token was CHB. It was kind of a little bit of a play on that. It was also a little bit of a jab at Bitcoin Cash because Bitcoin Cash says it's backed by the gold standard of cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, which may or may not be true, may or may not be questionable how that's done. It's just supposed to be a more fluid version of Bitcoin. And similarly, CHB or chocolate bullion is during our exchange that took place for 24 hours in Paris was backed by our version of the gold standard, the chocolate standard, and was a more liquid way to move your assets around during those 24 hours that people participated in the exchange. So that's a little bit of background on what it is, where it was minted, and Tom is correct that the place that you all could find it now is through these 36 art editions that exist. And I think I said this on the when we were up for 24 plus straight hours. We had Samuel and 160 VC with us. They stayed awake the whole 24 hours with us in the gallery, and we all did kind of a middle of the night AMA, direct live from the exchange. And my answer remains the same. If you are interested, I'll put you in touch with the gallery.
And can people pay in ETH?
That's a part that I'm trying to solve. I think we're always trying to be a bridge, and galleries have a hard time with things like crypto. So for those of you who have messaged me already, don't feel ignored. I just need to figure out. Give me a day back here in the States to figure out how we could process this exchange through something like ETH.
Yeah, and it's a transition time. Like, we obviously want them to take ETH, but they're not really ready. So I had a late night, like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Conversation with them that didn't really help, but we'll get there.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer. And then we have one person that we have a couple of seconds left for, Space Fifth. Are you maybe muted?
We can't hear you. I'll jump in with another question. Any clue when we can expect the medium to drop?
Charlie is actively working on it. 9 p.m. tonight.
Awesome, thanks.
But I think a lot of the details are things that you all are hearing first because you've joined this AMA, which is all about the Budweiser launch and details about that and stories coming live direct from Paris. So, just to give you kind of the big strokes of what will be in the article, I think you all got to hear a lot of those details here first. And speaking of first, for those who asked about Essence, I'm saying it here first to you all. This is not publicly posted anywhere yet, but if I were you, I would keep an eye on Essence tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So that's a little golden nugget just for those of you who tune into these weekly AMAs.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening in. I'll see you in St. Louis.
Yes, thanks for joining us, Tom. Thanks, Aram and Charlie.
Thank you, team.
Thanks, team.
Have a good rest of their day, everyone.
Talk to you next week.
See you all next week. Bye.